Hugh Jackman stars as a rugged, immortal anti-hero with memory loss in this early 2000s blockbuster. And we all know what that means. It's finally time to review...
X-Men!
What? No, Van Helsing. It's October, dude.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense.
Now I know Van Helsing has its fair share of detractors, and the fact that we're reviewing it at all might have some of you asking, but as Igor once so eloquently put it,
it's what I do.
After writer-director Stephen Sommers wrapped production on The Mummy, he was dying to find another spooky story to sink his teeth into.
Released by Universal Pictures and produced on a budget of $170 million, Van Helsing clawed its way into theaters on May 7, 2004, earning $300.2 million in the box office.
And while many ardent fans Van Helsing its praises, the film was universally panned by critics who, like vampires, tend to suck the fun out of everything.
And while many people boo this as a monstrously bad movie, does this vampiric flight of fancy truly bite? Or is it a howling good time? Well, that depends greatly on your own point of view.
And whether or not you're lactose intolerant, because this movie is cheesier than a Cheetos factory.
True, but that was kind of the point. Writer-director Stephen Sommers had very fond memories growing up watching the classic Universal monster films with his father as a child.
The mixture of fun and fright was intended to give audiences the feeling of a theme park ride, or a haunted house, rather than induce sheer terror.
The end result was a film with a widely varying and uneven tone that was at times too dark and suggestive for a family film, but not dark enough for many horror fans.
So, what did you think of it, Vader Old Bean?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Bonehead. I think that perhaps this film has been treated unfairly. While it is a mixed bag for me, I love the art design and visual aesthetic of the film. And Hugh Jackman is totally wizard as Van Helsing. He's the best at what he does, and what he does isn't very nice.
At least if you're a vampire. And everyone loves to moan about the CGI, but we've had CG in movies since 1993. Get over it already. Sure, Mr. Hyde looks like crap, but he looked terrible in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen as well, and he was a guy in a rubber suit.
Also, most people don't realize how much amazing miniature work and beautifully designed sets were in this film. Fun fact, Dr. Frankenstein's lab was equipped with actual antique medical equipment, purchased on eBay.
Now that's frugal filmmaking. So, Vader, I know you're more of an action guy than a horror fan, so what'd you think of the action set pieces in this film?
For the most part, they were pretty wizard. Each sequence had its own personality, like when Dracula's brides feel like having a little snackula, and the trio of trollops terrorize the Transylvanian town.
As the fiendish floozies fly overhead, Van Helsing vanquishes the vile vamps, protecting the villagers in this high-stakes action set piece.
The village set where they filmed this sequence is the same place the original Dracula, Frankenstein, and Wolfman were filmed on the Universal Studios backlot. The film is a true love letter to classic horror films. Even Van Helsing's assistant Carl is named after Carl Laemmle, the head of Universal Studios when the classic Universal monster films were made throughout the 1930s and 40s.
And for all you sappy romance fans out there, Richard Roxburgh, who played Dracula, and Sylvia Coloca, who played one of his brides, met during the film. And in a case of life imitating art, they fell for each other like a blind guy who couldn't read a wet floor sign. They're married to this very day, and have 3 little ankle-biters of their own.
Good for them. While Stephen Sommers balanced the elements of horror, adventure, and fun far better in The Mummy, there's still a lot of fun to be had with Van Helsing. But while it's toned down enough for a PG-13 rating, I still wouldn't let younger viewers see it. It has its fair share of frightening imagery, and I wish they would have dialed it back with Dracula's brides. Due to their overtly suggestive nature, and some of the more violent imagery in this film, I can't recommend this as a family-friendly movie.
From a narrative standpoint, A problem I had is that they never fully explained the backstory between Van Helsing and Dracula. It's clear they were holding something back because they thought they were going to get a sequel.
That is one of the film's biggest flaws, to be sure. But for all of its faults, it has a sense of style and atmosphere that I still enjoy. The sets and costumes are truly impressive. The action set pieces are fun and exciting. And Hugh Jackman brings a heroic and charismatic charm to the role of Van Helsing, in a tongue-in-cheek way that you would expect to see in a Bond film. In the end, Van Helsing is an underrated film that pays respect to classic monster movies while delivering a fun cheese fest of an action-adventure film.
You might think we're bats in the belfry, but if you enjoy vampires or Dracula, give it a watch. You'll be glad you did. Cross my heart and hope to die.
Fun fact, in 2009, a Van Helsing reboot was planned starring Tom Cruise in the title role, with Guillermo del Toro set to direct. But speaking of Guillermo del Toro, join us next weekend as we review our final film of October.
Well, it's been a scream, kids. If you've enjoyed the video, hit subscribe to join his little empire thingy, and donate to his PayPal to keep his channel alive. You wouldn't want it to die out now, would you? Until next time, farewell.